Hello there, good evening and a warm welcome. This is RupEng-News.
Hello, a very good evening. I'm Chandrasekhara.
I'm in Rita Surya. We start off with a look at the headlines for tonight. President says the government will back right decisions taken by public servants to serve the people. Attempt made by opposition leader to enter the Jaffna High Security Zone without permission foiled. Indian government assures maximum protection to Sri Lankan visitors. Sri Lanka ranked amongst top range of states providing electricity in South Asia. Unemployment in France reaches 10.2%. Now for those in more in detail, we start off with a look at local news. President Mahinda Rajapaksa emphasized that it is the responsibility of public servants to act practically to ensure maximum service is done by the people. He said that circulars are not issued to delay or halt work and public servants should not hesitate to correct taken decisions. The government will always protect the public servants who take correct decisions, and the President made these comments at the progress review meeting of the Ministry of Irrigation and Water Management held today to review the implementation of the 2013 to 2015 medium-term investment plan. The meeting discussed the progress that has been made and future plans of the Ministry of Irrigation, consisting the Irrigation Management Division, Dumaya Project Office, Sri Lanka Mahaweli Authority, Water Resources Board and Central Advisory Bureau for Engineering Activities. The President also stated that public officials should look into bilateral agreements signed with foreign countries and make arrangements to receive optimum benefit from these agreements. Whilst emphasizing on the importance of implementation, the President said that a separate officer should be appointed to divide the maximum benefits of agreements with foreign countries. The President pointed out that the government has been placed in a situation to pay for follies of the activities of previous governments. He said that it is the present government that is being blamed for the agreements signed in the past in respect of electricity. It was also revealed at this meeting the large-scale projects of Daduroya and Rabakanoa being implemented at present will be commissioned in the months of June and August. The President said that recommendations in the audit reports should be implemented and steps should be taken to rectify the shortages in present reports to the Cabinet. The President further stated that steps should be taken to halt unauthorized construction and land acquisition in conservation areas of reservoirs and irrigation projects. He said that special attention should be focused on protecting brackish water fish unique to the country when irrigation projects are planned. The President also inquired from officials about several complaints that had been received in respect of the irrigation sector. The President also focused the attention of officials on several newspaper reports that has been published recently. He said steps should be taken to keep the people rightly informed about the development process of the government. Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva pointed out that it has been possible to act and go forward in respect of irrigation sector in a very considerate manner under the present government. The Deputy Minister W.B.A. Kanayaka said that this is the first time a state leader has visited the building of the Irrigation and Water Management Ministry. Minister Basil Rajapaksa, Parliamentarian Sarat Veerasekara, Secretary to the President Lalit Veerathunga and Secretary to the Ministry of Irrigation Ivan de Silva also joined the discussion.
Meanwhile, Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe said that it was the present government led by President Mahinda Rajapaksa that solved the biggest problem that affected the working masses of this country. He said that the President has rendered yeoman's service for the protection of the rights of the working masses. The Minister said that the working masses will remember this with gratitude at the forthcoming May Day. The Minister made these comments while participating in the Prabhate program on National Rupavahini today. Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe said that President Mahinda Rajapaksa has been immensely dedicated to the betterment of the working masses of this country. He said that it was because of his prudent leadership that the biggest problem that affected the working masses has been resolved. Terrorism has been removed forever from our lives, and the country has been united as one nation. The Minister pointed out that at the time we celebrate May Day, we should not forget the huge development that has been achieved by the country. He called upon the working masses to join with the government on May Day as gratitude for the service being done by the government and the President. Sri Lanka faced several obstacles during the UN Human Rights Council sessions held in Geneva, which the Minister also touched upon during the program. Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe said that they have an agenda and or rather they have an agenda with regard to foreign policy. He said that they only support countries that allow them to carry out their own agendas. The minister said that they interfere in the internal affairs of countries that work independently and create problems in such countries and attempt to install their puppet regimes in such countries. The minister said that the people of Iraq, for example, have started questioning whether what they did was correct. He also said that India is presently acting as a state of the United States.
In the meantime, the Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, Ashok K. Kant, said that they assure protection to Sri Lankans who visit India. He said that all Indian states, including Tamil Nadu, have been enlightened on this matter. The Indian High Commissioner, who is on a visit to the central province, emphasized that to all Mahanayakas of the Nikayas. The Mahanayakas enlightened him about the cordial relationship that existed between India and Sri Lanka since ancient times, dating back more than 2,500 years. Mr. Kant told the Mahanayakas that the attack carried out on a member of the Mahasangha in Tamil Nadu state was an isolated incident, and he said that the historical and cultural links between the two countries remain unchanged. He also stated that Tamil Nadu state government took immediate action against the suspect connected with the attack. The High Commissioner also told the Mahanayakas that the Indian government has taken all steps to ensure protection and welfare of Sri Lankan visitors to India.
Meanwhile, the output of the Sapagaskanda oil refinery is set to be doubled. The government of the Czechoslovakian Republic will provide financial assistance for the modernization program required for this purpose. The current output of the Sapagaskanda oil refinery is 50,000 barrels per day, which is now insufficient for meeting daily demand. After modernization program, the daily output will be increased to 100,000 barrels per day. The agreement between Sri Lanka and Iran for the supply of oil has now become defunct due to the American sanctions. Therefore, the government has faced several difficulties in ensuring continued fuel supplies. The amount being spent by electricity suppliers for the generation of electricity has also increased. Taking into consideration these difficulties, the government has planned to implement the modernization project for the refinery. Representatives from the Czechoslovakian Republic will inspect the Sapagaskanda refinery next week.
An international survey has reported that Sri Lanka is in the top range of South Asian states in respect of supplying electricity daily. The survey has covered electricity supply in several Asian countries. India, which is the most powerful nation in the region, curtails electricity supply for 12 hours per day in its main states such as Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. 44% of Indian population suffers from this electricity curtailment, and in Pakistan about 80% of the people are victimized by power cuts. Power cuts are being carried out in the main cities of Pakistan such as Lahore, Islamabad and Karachi. The survey report points out that in some areas electricity supply is curtailed for 20 hours per day. In Nepal, electricity supply is curtailed for 14 hours per day in many cities. As the situation in many Asian countries remains so, the Sri Lankan government provides electricity supply round the clock to almost all parts of the country. When President Mahinda Rajapaksa assumed office in 2005, less than 70% of the people of the country received electricity supply. It has now been increased to 94%. In the year 2010, the electricity generation in Sri Lanka was 10,715 gigawatts per hour, and in the year 2011 it was increased to 11,525 gigawatts per hour. The Norachole power plant is to add another 600 megawatts of power to the national grid shortly, whilst international survey points out that Sri Lanka is leading amongst Asian countries on the daily supply of electricity.
Meanwhile, the Sri Lankan ambassador to the United Nations in New York, Major General Shavindra Silva, points out that the Boston attack confirms that world terrorism has taken examples from the LTTE terrorist attack mechanism. The ambassador made these comments in an interview with the Boston news agency. Investigations have confirmed that in the bombs used by the terrorists in the Boston attack, materials such as metal parts and iron nails were used, similar to the bombs blasted by the Tiger terrorists. 14 people lost their legs in the Boston bomb attack. The Tiger terrorists also blasted several thousand bombs of this kind in Sri Lanka, which resulted in thousands of unarmed people losing their limbs. Ambassador Major General Shavindra Silva has pointed out that in Sri Lanka, thousands of people lost their lives prematurely due to the bombs blasted by these Tiger terrorists. He has said that a significant number of LTTE supporters are still living in America, and some of them are living in Boston. He has said that certain American politicians are supporting the LTTE, thereby helping its revival again in Sri Lanka. One of the terrorists of the Boston attack was killed by US security forces, and the other terrorist is under police custody. The people of Boston commend the security forces for their action. People in Sri Lanka also commend the government and the security forces for destroying the Tiger terrorists who terrorized the country for almost 30 years. Sri Lanka has provided an example to the world on how terrorism can be defeated. Major General Shavindra Silva has emphasized that America is at least taking a lesson from the Boston attack and should refrain from protecting any kind of terrorism or terrorists.
The dead LTT organization or their supporters, because they have left a culture of small explosive with nut and bolts culture, and this can damage mankind around the world, irrespective of which country. So therefore, I once again appeal those who are supporting or sympathizing with this terror group, they should think again whether they should support any more, at least from today onwards. And especially for people who are pointing the finger to the leadership of Sri Lanka or to the officers who are responsible of eradicating terrorism as war criminals, they should think whether they should be considered them as war criminals or they should commend them for eradicating terrorism from whatever the country.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa declared open the new building of the Central Consultancy Bureau for Engineering Activities this morning. The new building, located at Baudda Lokamauta in Colombo 7, has been named Mahaveli. The building signifies the progress of the Central Consultancy Bureau for Engineering Activities for the last 40 years. 300 million rupees have been spent for the construction of this building, and the 9-storied building has been constructed in an environmentally friendly manner. It was the Engineering Consultancy Bureau that provided engineering consultations for several important projects such as Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport, Hambantota Safari Gardens and the Tele-Cinema Garden. Minister Nimasa Ripala de Silva said that the policy decision taken by President Rajapaksa to protect state institutions under the Mahinda Chintana program helped to protect the institutions. Minister Nimasa Ripala de Silva told the President that he did not take decisions to privatize or abolish institutions like this, as it was done during the United National Party government. It is because of this decision taken by the President to safeguard and improve the state institutions that it became possible to protect and develop institutions such as Central Engineering Consultancy Bureau. Deputy Minister W.B. Nayaka and Secretary to the President Lalit Veerathunga attended this function.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa has sent a message of congratulations to the new president of the Czech Republic, Milo Zeman. The president has stated in his message that Sri Lanka shares 20 years of bilateral relations with the Czech Republic. The president has said that the new president's victory is a manifestation of the trust and confidence he enjoys among the people of the Czech Republic. The president has said that he is confident that the Czech Republic will progress into an era of enhanced growth and prosperity under the leadership of the new president. He has also stated that Sri Lanka looks forward to expanding economic cooperation with the Czech Republic.
An attempt made by opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe and a group of others to enter the high security zone in Jaffna without any prior authorization has been foiled. The army spokesman Brigadier Ruan Vanagasurya said that no one is permitted to enter any army camp without prior approval. The northern and eastern provinces were under the clutches of Tiger terrorism for about 30 years. And it was the present government that liberated these areas from the Tiger terrorists, and because of that it has become possible to live without fear and suspicion in these areas, and also to visit and indulge in politics in these areas. When Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe was the Prime Minister of this country, the northern and eastern provinces were handed over to the terrorists under a written agreement. Mr. Wickramasinghe, who is attempting to enter high security zones by force today, would not have managed the task on those days. However, there are no terrorist-controlled areas now, and opposition leader and a group of others who went to Jaffna in an Air Force helicopter visited several areas there for several days. During this visit, they have attempted to enter the high security zone, and the army spokesman said that they emphasized that prior approval is required to enter the high security zone. Army spokesman Brigadier Ruan Ranagasuria said that prior notice should be given by visitors to enter an army camp. He said that army camps are not considered as public places, as in the case of police stations. He said that the army has no objection to people visiting the airport in Palali and the port, which are situated inside the Palali army camp.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa has instructed relevant provincial authorities to provide maximum assistance to the child Tharindu Lakshan of Atavatunavava, who has lost sight in both his eyes due to a terrorist attack. The President was informed of this child's plight while at a function held to hand over Mahavali deeds at Sampatnuara in Valioya on the 20th of this month. 9-year-old Tharindu Lakshan was completely blinded in a mortar attack carried out by the terrorists on the 12th of August 2007. At present, he is studying at the School for the Blind in Ratmalana. The child had informed of his difficulties to the President. The President then instructed the Governor of the Northern Province, Major General G.H. Chandrasiddhi, to provide the maximum assistance to the family of this child. The Governor had presented a motor pump at a consignment of pipes to the father of Tharindu Lakshan for improving his farming activities. In addition to this, 50,000 rupees was also presented to help the child in his educational activities. The family of this child will also receive a permanent home. The foundation stone for this house will be laid on the forthcoming Vesak full moon day.
The Deputy Prime Minister of Japan, Taro Aso, and Parliamentary Senior Vice Minister of Finance, Ms. Yuko Obuchi, will visit Sri Lanka from the 1st to the 2nd of May as a follow-up visit to the visit of President Mahinda Rajapaksa to Japan in March this year. Mr. Aso is also the Finance Minister of Japan. During their visit, Mr. Aso and Ms. Obuchi will meet President Mahinda Rajapaksa to discuss bilateral relations with a view to further strengthening the long-standing ties between the two countries. They will also visit the port of Colombo and Colombo dockyard, and the government of Japan provided $800 million of upgrading and expansion of the Colombo port. The Colombo dockyard marks its 20th anniversary of partnership with the Onomichi Dockyard Company Limited of Japan this year.
Meanwhile, the World Health Organization and the UNICEF has commended Sri Lanka as a country that has successfully implemented immunization programs. They say that the immunization program in Sri Lanka is being implemented 100%. The World Health Organization has said that the activities being carried out by the government in this connection are commendable. The government spends 900 million rupees annually for the immunization programs. It receives high-quality vials for this purpose to cover several diseases. The storage of such vials have also become easy due to the availability of electricity throughout the country. The Immunization Week, which started on the 22nd of this month, will end on the 30th of this month. The World Health Organization points out that for the prevention of diseases, immunization is the best solution. These details were revealed by the Director General of Health Services, Dr. Palitha Mahipala, at a media conference held at the Health Education Centre in Colombo today.
Now for the trading details of the Colombo Stock Exchange for today.
Well, that's all the news we have for you tonight. Do join us tomorrow at the same time for more. Until then, it's a very good night.
Good night.